We've had 2 races so far in the 2025 One-Up Superstar Series, and we've had 2 incredible finishes, 2 amazing winners. I expect us to go 3 for 3 here in the 3rd round of the 2025 season, and we are here at the Richmond Raceway, where a lot of action has happened in One-Up races past, but we're back for 2025. We've got a new package here. It's going to be a lot of fun for these 42 drivers over the course of the next 105 laps here this evening. And alongside me to bring you all the action once again is the man who's been with us for the past few races in the Superstar Series. Jacob Craig are back with us again. Great to have you with us. Now on to the task at hand, this race, as we take a look at the top 20 overall over the first 2 races. We've got Zachary DeLello on the strength of a first at Gateway and a 3rd at Daytona. He is tied for the lead with Miles Mashburn, who has 2 second-place finishes to get the season started. Emma Kruger only 2 points behind. Patrick Smith, Henry Thomas, both within 20. But with that being said, Richmond's a whole different animal. It's kind of like Gateway in the technical aspect, but it's a lot shorter, and a lot more can happen here.
And it's my favorite short track on the schedule, too. And you said it, we could possibly go 3 for 3 for surprising but favorable winners here. I mean, you got Joshua Michaels starting on pole here, as we'll see in a moment here with the starting lineup. And we've seen in both races, the field is stacked with phenomenal drivers, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see what these drivers can do today.
Absolutely, because there are so many good drivers in this field. So many had to go home, but the ones that made the field are here. They're ready to go and ready to put on a great show over the course of the next 105 laps. As we can now bring you the starting lineup, as you mentioned, for this 105-lap event. Joshua Michaels, after that heartbreak at Gateway, led the most laps, suffered a tire failure late in the race that took him out of contention. He lines up on pole today with Jeffrey Finguy alongside him. Finguy's actually mired deep in the points as well. He needs a rebound after a middle-of-the-road start to his title defense season. Devin Fair, Dylan Young, J.D. Martin round out the top 5, but behind them, we've got a couple surprises making appearances in the top 10. Eric Monaco starting 6th, James Ellison, career best start for him in the Superstar Series in 8th, and Bobo Jones completing the top 10, but our 2 points leaders, DeLello and Mashburn, start 13th and 23rd, respectively. They've got their work cut out for them to try and make their way to the front.
Yeah, certainly, and you mentioned Joshua Michaels and Jeffrey Finguy both being deep in points. There's a lot of guys up here actually in the top 10 that are deep in points. J.D. Martin, Eric Monaco, Dylan Young even as well, all deep in the field in terms of the point standings, but it's going to be interesting to see how they can hopefully keep themselves in the top 10 and maybe earn some needed points to help later on down the line. But yeah, you got Henry Thomas starting 24th. He is 5th in points. You got Emma Kruger starting in, I believe, the 12th position. Yeah, she's starting 12th. So it's gonna be interesting to see if the guys that are still in like the top 5, top 6 in points can work their way up to the front, even if they're starting in the midfield, or if the guys that are further back in points can, stay up front and maybe leapfrog themselves into the top 15 or even the top 10 in points.
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we, over the course of the next 105 laps. But with that being said, the 42 drivers ready to take on this event, and we are ready to bring you that action now. It is the One-Up Superstar Series from Richmond Raceway, and the green flag getting ready to get this race underway. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it. Getting ready for a good one. Under the lights at Richmond, our first race at night for the Superstar Series this season. Michaels and Finguy, green flag in the air. We're underway at Richmond, and Michaels gets a great jump off the line. He is going to pull plenty clear as we head off into turn 1. Devin Fair trying to follow him through underneath the 92.
Yeah, and you see Devin Fair actually getting ahead of Finguy there ever so briefly. I think he's going to clear him here in 3 and 4. That might allow J.D. Martin to get alongside Finguy here. Yeah, J.D. Martin's at his quarter panel there off of turn 4. Finguy might be able to get in front of him. No, Martins is able to send it in there. Stay to the inside of Finguy through 1 and 2 here. And you've got Dylan Young is there as well, right behind JD Martin. He's looking maybe trying to take the spot. No, Finn Guy able to clear and cut off JD Martin there.
So that's something Finn Guy wanted to do at the start of the race, at least slot in third, because he knew Fair was going to get the advantage on him in the inside lane. But look at this, we got 3 wide already. Further back in the pack, James Ellison had a great qualifying effort. He started 8th, he's currently running in 10th, and he just chops off Bobo Jones to keep that 10th position as he now sets off after Ben McDonald, who's had an excellent start to this race. It has to be said, he started 11th, he's already gained 3 spots.
Yeah. Something we didn't actually mention in the pre-race was the fact that you had 3 of the Finn Guy cars in the top 10 for starting. So, yeah, they're all settled in now. Time to just set sail, try to log as many laps here in early going as Michael's pulled out over second over Devin Fair here, who is another half second over Finn Guy.
And he's the only one in the 21-second bracket in terms of fastest lap. He set a 21.81. No one else has even gotten under 22 seconds. That just shows that Joshua Michaels came here to race today, and he's got a really fast car. He had a really fast car last week at Gateway, a heartbreak for him there. He lost that race in the most cruel way possible. He's looking to rebound, and boy, is he proving it so far tonight.
I don't think he's here to race. I think he's here to make a statement, and he's certainly doing that now. He's here to dominate. He's here to actually take that checkered flag and to shut all the people up who are, maybe questioning his ability to actually close out a deal. He's had a heartbreak before. We saw it last time out at Gateway. We'll see how well he can do here today, as we see Fair is being reeled in by Finn Guy now.
Yeah, and going back to what you were saying about Joshua Michaels, he has finished second countless times in one-up competition. But he knows how to win races. He's won a bunch of Nitro National races, and he won in the Truck Series last year. So he knows how to win races. It's just, like you said, closing the deal in the Premier Series is what he's trying to do here tonight. And so far, he's putting an authority on this race. He's already built a over second lead. Yeah, now it's just getting even bigger, 1.3 seconds between himself and Devin Fair. So Michaels quickly trying to stamp out any dissent among any skeptics out there that he can drive a race car in this top series.
Oh, but don't look now. It looks like Finn Guy might have actually closed in about a 10th there that previous lap, although he is behind Devin Fair. So Michaels managed to open up the gap a little bit more there. But, Michaels has already led the first 9 laps, coming to complete lap 10 already. The laps are taken away quickly and whatnot, and that's what Michaels has got hope for, is just the laps can keep on ticking away as quickly as he's ticking away now.
Yeah, but look, Devin Fair has just clipped off about a 10.5 to 2/10 out of Michaels' lead. Did the 6 launch too fast too soon, and will he now pay the price for it later on? As we look a little further back, Ben McDonald on the charge. He's another one, I think, that has a really fast car, and if he can get to the front of the field, I think he's going to have a real good chance to demonstrate that. But for right now, he's stuck battling Eric Monaco. This is for 7th place.
Yeah, Eric Monaco was able to get the drive off of turn 4 by the looks of things there. He was able to just get a bumper ahead of the 12 there, but they're still battling side by side as we're now looking at Devin Fair, who I think has pulled away a little bit from Finn Guy. He's actually started closing in on Michaels. I think you're right. I think Michaels might have fired off and used up his stuff a little too early here. And could also be playing the early game of get going as far out as possible early on, back off a little bit, save your stuff, and then be able to still be fast later on. Who knows what he's doing, as we see now Devin Fair less than half a second behind Michaels.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because Devin Fair is. We're looking at the back of the field right now. They're only about half a lap ahead of Joshua Michaels. If this race stays green for long enough, they are absolutely going to catch some lap traffic, and we've seen it already. That is a big factor in who wins these races, especially on the short tracks. Who can manage the traffic best, and who can find the right line to pass them as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, and certainly it's, of course, lap traffic's job to ensure that they don't cause too much chaos for the leaders, if at any. But at the same time, the leaders could also, maybe use the lap traffic as kind of like their own little chessboard on a chessboard in a way here. And it'll be interesting to see how Michaels, Fair, even Finguy or Martins can try and navigate that.
Well, it's still very early in this race. We've only just started lap 17. However, it's never too early to start thinking about the end of the race. These guys usually build a plan to start from the end of the race and work their way backwards, and that is exactly what these guys are going to be trying to do here. As it looks as though McDonald still held up behind Eric Monaco, and look at this gaggle of cars back here from about 11th on back. You got Bobo Jones, Lane Sanders, last week's winner Zachary DeLello, Ryan Griffin's back there, Chase Christ, and Christian Vargas. All sorts of drivers looking to break into the top 10.
Yeah, Bobo Jones is just trying to do his best to try and stay with James Ellison there by the looks of things. But Ellison's, of course, got a little bit of a gap ahead of him, got slightly cleaner air than Bobo Jones. So Ellison's going to be able to fire off here as we see Lane taking a look to the inside of Bobo Jones now here in turn 1. It's not what Bobo Jones wanted.
No, but Bobo's got to be smart here. He knows we haven't even gotten to a 5th race distance yet. I think what he just needs to do now is just stay calm, stay focused, and maybe slot in behind Ryan Griffin if he can, or slide in ahead of the 0-2 of Ryan Griffin if he can, if of course Lane Sanders passes him. But so far, we're looking at Ryan Griffin here. He's done a great job this season despite missing the 500. He's already up in the top 25 in points, and another run like this will boost him up into perhaps the top 20.
Yeah, as we see now, it looks like that is Eric Monaco fighting the 12. So, I think... Yeah, Eric Monaco wasn't able to be passed by the 12th. Sorry.
No, we're just settling in for it's a long race. We've still got about 85 laps to go here, and Joshua Michaels is keeping about half a second's advantage over Devin Fair, doing a solid job maintaining the gap. And they've done a good job gapping themselves from 3rd place Jeffrey Finguy. They've got about a second between themselves and him, with J.D. Martin a further half second behind. So they're doing a good job just managing the gap, logging laps. It's still early on, and when they're ready to race, we'll see it.
Yeah, certainly. J.D. Martin only 2 seconds back as well from Michaels, so maybe Fair's seen, Michaels burned up his stuff. Maybe he's trying to save his stuff as well for the end of this thing.
Well, it's certainly a viable strategy because these tires will wear here. The fall-off's going to be about 2 seconds between the start of the run and the end of the run. If this race stays green long enough as well, we should see some green flag pit stops as well. So it's going to be interesting to see because the trucks were able to make it the entire race without issue. But these guys, they're running about 35 laps longer than they did. It's going to be, and these guys are running at a faster pace as well. As we look a little further back, James Ellison hanging on to his spot in the top 10, but look at the train of cars behind him.
Yeah, Bobo Jones able to fend off Lane Sanders there for 11th, as, that is a train of cars there. Looks like DeLello actually lost a spot to Chase Christ as well, in addition to the 0-2 of Griffin. But something I want to ask is, if these guys do have to run long, is it a viable strategy to maybe short pit, get the early tire advantage, and be able to run later on? Yeah, you'll be slower at the end of your run while everybody else is on fresher rubber than you, but how much of an advantage would that give? That's something these guys have also got to think about.
It is, and that will be a big advantage if anyone tries to do that. The one concern I have with doing that is you're gonna put yourself a lap or two down in the process, and if a caution comes at precisely the wrong time, it could absolutely destroy your race. So it's a double-edged sword. You'll have the freshest tires, but you gotta hope it stays green the entire way.
Yeah, and you think back to Jensen Nomena's run at Darlington in the Nitro National Series last year, where he had to have an early pit stop. Granted, that wasn't scheduled, but he was able to go a lap down, but he was able to make that lap up and start passing people at the back of the field. But then again, Darlington's also like twice the length of Richmond almost. So probably less viable of a strategy here, but we'll see how this plays out for everybody.
And meanwhile, we're looking at the back end of the top 20 here. Zayden Davidson making his way up from starting 25th. Cale Tescar Jr. started 15th. They've kind of met in the middle there. As Chase Christ trying to defend with all his might from Ryan Griffin, as it looks as though Bobo Jones has finally broken through on James Ellison.
Yep, and this might open the floodgates here as Lane Sanders now ducks to the inside to follow Bobo Jones past the 3, and looks like Griffin once again to the inside of Chase Christ, right behind them as well. I think Chase Christ might have been able to clear Griffin. Yeah, you see there. And now he's going to tuck in behind Sanders. Maybe he can try and find his way around Bobo Jones. Bobo Jones, though, hanging strong around that outside now, as Ellison's able to get in between him and Sanders, and now Ellison tried to look inside, but Bobo Jones is able to cut him off. However, that's going to leave Leighton Sanders vulnerable to his teammate here, as Chase Christ now looking to the inside of Sanders.
Yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic battle from about 10th on back, because these guys, we don't often see some of these guys up at the front of the field, or at least we haven't lately. James Ellison having a career best performance here at Richmond here. Chase Christ, we haven't seen what he can do in a really good car yet, and he's demonstrated over the first 2 races he's plenty capable. He's in the top 10 in points as they run at the moment. And Ryan Griffin as well. He's currently hanging out in 14th. Zachary DeLello, last week's winner, currently riding in 15th. That would be his worst finish of the season if he would have finished there. That's still a really solid performance, though, for DeLello. I seriously think this is going to be a great year for that 08 team.
Certainly, and going back to Griffin for as well, despite missing Daytona, I think entering this race he was, 28th, 29th, somewhere around there in points?
I think you'll have to remind me on that. He entered this race 23rd in the points.
23rd, yeah. I thought it was a little bit further back, as we see Michaels has actually pulled away from Devin Fair almost a second and a half over Fair, with another second back to Finn Guy.
And meanwhile, we're looking at this battle. This is for 6th position. Ben McDonald is getting fed up of being stuck behind Eric Monaco this entire race. He sticks it down the inside of the 25, and I think he's going to get the position at the line. Monaco's still alongside him, but they're battling in between Mark Davey, who's had a pretty slow start to the season. Hopefully he can rebound in this race, and Patrick Smith, who's had a great start to the year and currently continuing that great start in 9th.
Yeah, pole Daytona, I believe a top 10 last week at Gateway, running in the top 10 here. I feel like he's going to be an early contender here for the championship. As we see, JD Martin to the inside of Finn Guy now for that 3rd spot. Finn Guy gets to drive off the corner, though. JD Martin can't stay to the inside, unfortunately. But that was a interesting move that JD Martin was trying to make there.
Yeah,
fortunately was able.
It just demonstrates that while you have the run to make a pass, the outside, as the tires wear, becomes a good defensive line you can use to your advantage. Like we saw at Gateway last week, where Finn Guy made JD take a tighter path out of turn 2, and that cost him time. That's a valid strategy the 92 can employ to try and keep the 66 behind and back him up into Finn Guy's teammate, Dylan Young, in the 29.
They even add to that, like the outside lane can even become an offensive line just as much as it is a defensive line later on in the run. We'll have to see how that plays out. It looks like Ellison has lost a ton of spots here. He's now behind the 02 of Griffin, with Emma Kruger closing in behind, who's gotten around DeLello.
Yeah, Ellison's fallen to about 14th. Still a good run for the Freeze, just kind of getting overwhelmed a little bit by the equipment behind him. But meanwhile, here's a battle worth keeping an eye on. This is the battle for 11th between teammates. Lane Sanders, after a strong season a year ago, trying to kickstart his 2025 campaign in the right way, and Chase Christ really trying to prove his worth to Lane Sanders here. And I don't know if Lane's going to be upset or impressed if this 46 is able to pass him.
Probably both, knowing Lane. Because it's one thing is like, yeah, it's frustrating because you're now one spot lower than where you probably feel like you should be. As we see McDonald not only gotten around Monaco, but he's now trying to get around Davies here. But going back to the Chris Sanders battle, like it's one thing to be frustrated because, you're not one spot better than where you are now because you just lost a spot to a competitor. But at the same time, that competitor is also a driver you hired, a driver your teammates with. So it's like, yeah, they're doing good. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Co-opetition, as I like to call it.
And meanwhile, Joshua Michaels has built a 2-second lead between himself and Devin Fair, and he's not that far off the back of the field. They're only about a half a straightaway ahead of him at the moment, and as you can see from this camera angle, you see the back of the field sending it off into turn one. Michaels is not that far behind.
Yeah, I think Michaels is about as close to the tail end of the field as Fair or even Finn Guy is as close to Michaels. So it's going to be not too long here before we see lap traffic start to play actual factor in this.
And that'll certainly change the complexion of this race. We've seen it before, and I'm sure we'll see it again. As Joshua Michaels just keeps clicking off laps. He's led 44 laps already. He's led every lap tonight. And Devin Fair, he cut the gap by about 0.3, and I don't think Michaels minds all that much, because as long as there's a big enough margin that he can take his time picking through the lap traffic, I think he's fine if Devin picks up a 10th or 2 here and there.
Yeah, but Michaels has got to be careful, because if he takes too long trying to find a way around a lap car that's maybe fighting harder than maybe what Michaels would have wanted, that's going to allow Fair to catch right up to his tail. But, it's the old adage. Catching is one thing, passing is another, and we've seen that already tonight. Like, Chase Chris has been able to catch Lane Sanders, hasn't been able to get around him as far as we have seen so far.
And we're seeing it here with Cale Tescar Jr. trying to find his way past Stephen Gale as well.
Yeah, and we saw it with Ellison being able to hold off Bubba Jones for at least a little while before finally relenting to the 4 people that were behind him, as well as McDonald with Eric Monaco. Like, they were finally able to get around the respective people they were battling, but it took a long while for them to do so.
And meanwhile, I want to give a quick shout out to this one car here. Stanley Andrews making his first start of 2025. He's a new hire at Crossroads Racing. He's got his teammate running 15th. He himself is running just outside the top 20. He's currently 22nd. Started 19th. This is a fantastic run for a team and a driver that have been so down on themselves lately. They really needed a run like they're having tonight.
Yeah, and speaking of good runs, I know it's not quite into the top half of the field, but a few positions behind him is Echo Evans-Ross, who's making a return after 1 week off from an injury. She started all the way down in 32nd. She's already up to, I believe, the mid-20s. So we chase Chris and Lane Sanders once again side by side down the back straightaway here to complete lap 49.
And I think this time, Chase Christ is actually a lot further alongside Sanders than in previous laps. They're coming across the line very close to each other. Only 3/1000ths of a second separated those two at the line. These guys are very closely matched tonight, but I expect that Chase Christ, with enough dedication, will be able to power past.
I actually think he got a little bit loose off the corner. I saw him slow up just a little bit, allowed Zane to get a little bit with an edge going into turn 1 the previous lap. Chris able to clear Sanders this time by, but yeah, I think he got loose a lap ago, exiting turn 4 there. But he's able to get around Sanders now, and now he can set sail and try and catch up to Bobo Jones.
And meanwhile, Ben McDonald has cleared Mark Davey and Eric Monaco, and he's already starting to put a bit of a gap between himself and those two as he tries to close in on Dylan Young in 5th place. But looking at the gap between Joshua Michaels and the tail of the field, it's holding kind of steady at the moment. It's about half a straightaway between himself and the 42 of Rasha Mahendra, who's currently in 42nd. But I just have a feeling once Michaels inevitably catches these guys, that's when the real adventure begins.
Yeah, I've noticed so far throughout the timing of this that it seems like Michaels would pull out to a big lead, Fair would, close that gap a little bit, then it would stabilize, then Michaels would pull out away again. And I think we're nearing that point where Michaels is starting to pull away again. Well, maybe not that time by, but it was about 2 seconds, then it was hovering about 1.4, 1.5 here, so I would expect Michaels to start pulling away a little bit again up until at least he catches the lap traffic. He's about quarter straightaway from doing so right now by the looks of things.
Yeah, and we've just passed the halfway mark in this race. Joshua Michaels locks up the point for leading the most laps. This is the second week in a row, in fact, that he will lead the most laps, so racking up bonus points, and he needs them as we got a spin. Off of turn 2, it's James Silverfox for the second week in a row. He goes for a spin, and that's going to bring out the caution flag for the first time tonight.
And I believe third caution in a row for Silver Fox as well.
Seems like it, but this also gets these guys into the window where if they pit under this caution, they're plenty good to go for the rest of the race.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that, as you said, we are just past halfway. And that's also not something Michaels wanted to see, because he gives an opportunity for the pit crews of his competitors to get them around him. But and with Michaels being in clean air, I don't know how his car is going to do in traffic. It might struggle in traffic.
Well,
we'll have to see here.
Yeah, we're about to find out. Of course, Silver Fox stays out. He went a lap down during his spin. He'll be in the next time by. But everybody else is coming down pit road here for some fresh tires, a full tank of fuel to make it to the end of the 105 laps tonight.
Yeah, we'll have to see how things shake out here on pit road, because we've seen time and time again, pit road is where race is either made or broken.
Oh, wait a second. I just saw something. Mark Davies
took two tires?
He did not take tires at all. That is a massive gamble from the 11 team, Original Autosport. I don't know if that's well advised for the 11, but they wanted track position, and that's sure as heck one way to get it, as it looks like Fair also beats Michaels out of the pit lane.
Yeah, I can't tell if Fair took 2 tires and then waited on fuel, or if he took 4 tires.
I think everybody else took 4 at the rate they were all coming out of the pits together. But Mark Davies, a no-tire call to get him the race lead, but that surely will not last very long. Oh, look, it's James Silverfox next to a Genesis engineering car. What could possibly go wrong? And it turns out it wasn't even the Genesis car that got him sideways. It was the 8 of Logan Williams this time.
Yeah. Well, we heard last week that the Genesis engineering team got the Wanker of the Race award from Zachary Fitzwater.
I think it'll be the 8 team getting it this time around.
Yeah.
But it was a relatively short caution, so that's good at least. Sam Donotto leaves pit road. He should only fall 1 lap down as a result of this. Yes, there he is. He's 1 lap off the lead. James Silverfox as well. So once we get restarted here, it'll be those 2 on the inside. Mark Davies will be the leader of the race. I just question how long that will last on 58 lap old tires compared to everyone else on a fresh set.
There are some gambles one should try to take. This is not one I feel they should have took.
I mean, it gets him a bonus point, but this is surely going to bite him later on.
Honestly, probably a bit of a bold prediction, but I don't even think he's going to finish in the top 15 here.
I would argue he might not even finish on the lead lap at the rate these guys will blast past him. But we're going to find out. We could be proven wrong, of course. Anything can happen in this series, and usually it does. But Mark Davies in this 11 team, brand new team for 2025. This is their first time leading laps all season, and in their tenure in the series as a whole, Mark Davies going to lead us to this restart with Fair and Michaels in hot pursuit.
The only thing I'll give Mark Davies is that he does have 2 lap cars to his inside, so that's going to give him slight breathing room here as the green flag comes out. And no, Silver Fox already out ahead, and so will the 77. Michaels to the inside of Fair already, now to the inside of Davies. He's going to retake the lead.
Yeah, that didn't take long, now did it? And Mark Davies, this was a great gamble for about 10 seconds, and it is very much not going to pay off. Now Devin Fair getting held up behind the 11 as Ben McDonald and J.D. Martin both surge up into second and third, and Davies now going to hold up everybody else behind him. This is going to stack up the pack in a really big way.
Yeah, and might cause some issues for those who started at the tail end of the lead lap here, as Finneguy pretty much shoving the 11, but Davies able to hold on. Now Finguy's going to get around. They're going to be 3 wide behind Mark Davies here going into turn 1.
Yeah, Devin Fair's clear finally. Chase Christ, Derek Monaco, they're all stacking up behind the 11. This is the difference between fresh tires and tires that have been on since lap 1. And for Mark Davey, this is not going to pay off in any meaningful way. He is already backsliding in a dramatic way.
Yeah, and you see him up at the front. Michaels and JD Martin nose to bumper there. Those guys, if I recall correctly, are teammates.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see them battling for the win, as we saw Chase Christ and Sanders battling for 11th.
Yeah, here they are. They're nose to tail and no real risk of swapping positions anytime soon. But Mark Davey, he is backslid. This is giving a good opportunity to those who can get by him in a hurry, like Cale Tescar Jr., James Ellison, Zayden Davidson. Who this is really hurting, Bobo Jones and Dylan Young. They have been stuck behind Davey for the entire run. Look at that. They're on 3 wide top each, and they're all going to go backsliding as a result of this 11-team strategy call.
Yeah, you saw Emmer Kruger there move Davies actually out of the way using with side-by-side contact there. And it'll be interesting to see if somebody gets too impatient with Davies here and takes him out here, because just the struggles of, like, it is really stacking up the field here. He's effectively a secondary pace car at this point.
And not in a good way, because everyone else is going at full racing speed. He is very much not. He's running at least 2.5 to 3 seconds a lap slower. Dolello's getting held up by this as well. He's down in 30th position now. After such a strong start to the race and to his season, Young's finally made it past, but Bobo Jones, I fear, is going to slide right to the back.
Yeah, and Bobo Jones, actually, speaking of which, almost made a 4 wide there coming off of turn number 4. Thought better of it to try and keep his car clean, but yeah, and you see Cody Goforth running here at the tail end of the field as well. He's going to suffer as well. Julio Caesar, Roberto Grun Jr., they're all now at the tail end of the field, and well, they probably were running there already. It's most certainly a guarantee they're going to finish at the tail end, as now they're already like just under half a lap behind Joshua Michaels, and as well as Silver Fox and the 77.
Keep in mind as well, Mark Davey, it only took about 10 laps after the restart for him to fall from the lead of the race down into 40th. 40th place for Mark Davey. It took him only 10 laps to fall that far down. So, like I said, if this race goes green the rest of the way, he is going to fall at least 2, maybe 3 laps down, unless he... And even if he comes in to remedy the situation, he's also going to fall a few laps down.
And you see, Michaels now has Silver Fox behind him. That's going to give him a little bit of a cushion here to maybe help him keep the lead as well. Because Silver Fox being the lap car, that's going to have JD Martin have to work a little bit harder to catch up to him.
Yeah, and keep in mind as well, Martin is a teammate to Michaels. He may be trying to keep Ben McDonald at bay to try and help his teammate, but he also wants to get past. And look at that, Mark Davey, he's already lost so much time to the back of the pack. He's coming out of turn 2. The leader's into turn 1. He might go a lap down in the next 5 to 10 laps.
More like the next 2 to 3 at the speed he's going compared to the leaders here.
He is at least 3 seconds slower than everyone else, and it's purely down to the set of good years he's got on that thing.
Yeah, as we see McDonald now able to clear Fingui. He's not going to set the work to try to get around Silver Fox, as Martins has already gotten around him.
Yeah, and now Donato's doing the smart thing here. He is fighting hard to stay on the lead lap against Joshua Michaels, because if we get another caution, that is going to allow him to repass and stay on the lead lap. So, and Silver Fox is hoping that Donato does that as well, because if he does, Silver Fox will be the free pass car.
Yeah, and it also gives an opportunity for everybody else to catch up to Michaels, because Michaels is going to be stuck behind the 77 as well and not be able to...
Trouble! 3 and 4. It's Fingui and McDonald around. That is going to bring out caution. That is exactly what those guys were hoping for. But for Jeffrey Fingui and Ben McDonald, they were running 3rd and 4th at the time, and now they have crashed each other to put us under yellow for the 2nd time. And that couldn't have come at a better time for Mark Davey as well to try and fix the mistake he made.
Yeah, and that also allows the 77 to stay on the lead lap. Like, I believe you said Silver Fox to get the free pass.
Yeah, so everybody's going to be back on the lead lap now.
It'll be interesting to see if anybody pits here for tires. I would expect Davies to do so.
Yeah, Davey will be, I think, the only one. Because everybody else has got the tires they got. They should be fine to go to the end. But for Mark Davey, if he doesn't come in now, his race is over. This is his last chance to fix things.
Yeah, and he'll have a significant advantage because we've run about 15 laps on these tires as well. That's a huge advantage with like what you said, with a 2-second fall off from the start to the end of a run.
Yeah, there's Mark Davey. He is now on pit road to put 4 fresh tires on that 11, but he is now fallen all the way down to last in the running order. So they were stuck behind Silverfox. They were 3rd and 4th in the running order. McDonald tries to make a move on Silverfox, and Finguy just hooked him in the right rear.
It looks like Finguy was just either trying to move McDonald to try and get around him going into the corner there, trying to move him up the racetrack, and yeah, as you said, it just hooked him rather than just sending him up the racetrack. So Finguy being ultra aggressive there just didn't work out for either of them. And in fact, Finguy got the worst of it because he actually lost more spots than McDonald as well.
One more look at this, and yeah, it looks like Finguy was just got onto the brakes a little later than McDonald did. The end result, they both go into the wall.
Now I'm wondering if maybe McDonald didn't race Finguy, and Finguy didn't like it as well. Maybe that he was trying to send McDonald over. He was just trying to, move him to try and take 3rd just naturally and whatnot, because that's how you race here at short tracks nowadays.
Well, the good news for these guys, they will be on the lead lap still, and with pretty much intact race cars. They didn't pit, so they seem confident in the cars that they have. So we're going to have a restart in a few laps. All 42 cars are still running, and by some miracle, they're all on the lead lap. Mark Davey has come in for some fresh tires. He will restart way out back, but everybody's still in with a shot at this as we close in on 25 laps to go.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Mark Davies can do with that set of fresh Goodyear tires as well.
So the lights are out on the pace car. One more lap, and then we'll get back underway with 26 laps remaining in this race. Joshua Michaels has led all but 4 laps tonight, and those 4 laps were the ones Mark Davey led under that yellow flag. But if Michaels can hang on and collect this win, this is going to be so huge for him, for Robbers Racing, for One Up as a whole. History will be made here at Richmond if that were to happen. And look at, and ignoring him for a second, look at all these cars that have suddenly found themselves closer to the front. Chase Christ, Ryan Griffin, they're both in the top 5 now. Miles Mashburn, we hadn't talked about him all day. He's now 10th.
Yeah, it's going to be with how Mashburn is running, he's going to be definitively the points leader at this point. His pace car drives off.
Trying to Mashburn's trying to join his 2 teammates in the 1-2 positions as we're back underway once again here at Richmond as we send it off now into turn 1. The field brakes hard for the first corner. Martin in hot pursuit of Joshua Michaels as we make our way out of turn 2. Looks as though everybody's going to stay line of stern for the moment, but Devin Fair, he's going to take a look underneath the 66.
Yeah, Devin Fair thought he was going to be able to take advantage of the pit stops to get ahead of Michaels and try and stay in the lead there under the last caution we had for Silver Fox. Wasn't able to do it. Now he's going to have to try and fight back. He's around Martins and clear the 66 here. Now he's going to try and set sail for Michaels here as we are coming to complete lap 81.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of good cars up in the mix. Eric Monaco fighting his way past Ryan Griffin up into the top 5. Ryan Griffin having such a strong start to the year, even after he missed the Daytona 500. If he can finish up here, this should boost him into the top 15 in the points.
Yeah, well, he is a good driver, so I'm not surprised he is running well, even despite missing the Daytona 500.
Oh, we got another yellow for a big wreck on the back straightaway. Henry Thomas, Cody Goforth, Silver Fox again, Dylan Young, Roberto Crown Jr., all involved in a big accident down the back, and we're under caution for the 3rd time tonight.
Oh, and Julio Cesar on pit road as a result of that.
He must have been involved in this too. This must have happened at the very back of the field. What in the world happened there? Because I saw that 16 go up in the air at one point.
Yeah, I think we caught the end of the 16 rolling. Well, even then, it looks like the team might be trying to fix that car.
And it's going to take a big effort for him to do that. You see Mark Davies already gained 10 spots since the last restart. He's up to 31st. But and he did a good job to miss this accident because we got a lot of cars back here with some damage. Zachary DeLello's got some. His teammate Cody Goforth with a lot of damage on that 64. He's going to bring it down for repairs, as will the 71 of Crown.
Yeah, I think Dylan Young was involved with that, but with Jones, Silver Fox I saw spinning as well.
So that, So that I believe is 4 of the last 5 caution flags we've had in one-up competition in the Superstar Series involving that 9 car. Looks as though it starts right here. Dylan Young took a big lunge under Henry Thomas. They go 3 wide with Jeff Bolton. Oh, they get hooked together. There's no chance of them recovering that in front of the whole field, and they all just pile in from there.
Yeah, and you see there, Thomas goes up and over with a push from DeLello, I believe that got into him. And just 3 cars going into a space that only fit a car and a half, and you saw what happens there. It was a big wreck that just clogged the entire racetrack. Nowhere for basically anybody that was behind that to go.
And such a shame for Zachary DeLello as well. He had such a good start to the season. Now he's involved in a big wreck late here at Richmond. One more look at this, and you'll see Bolton, he really didn't have anywhere to go because Young got out of shape. Out of 2, that sent him up into the 16, which sent him up into the 38, and it's just a big chain reaction from that point onward.
Yeah, a bit of a correction. I think it was Crown Jr. that actually sent Henry Thomas up and over. DeLello was the first to make contact with the 16. And like you said, Bolton just, he was blindsided just completely by that. Nowhere to go for him, really. So, tough break for everybody involved there.
But you know what's the amazing thing? They're all still out there, and only 3 of them have even lost 1 lap through all that. So, very impressive that these guys are able to keep rolling. However, I expect guys like the 71, the 16, the 64, they're going to be a little off pace for the rest of the night. Thankfully, we only have about 20 laps to go now.
Yeah, and with it being more than 10 laps to go, they're going to be able to start to the inside of Michaels, Fair, JD Martin here. So they're definitely going to play a factor into this.
Yep, and there they go. They're about to take their place in the lap down lane. So this is going to be an interesting restart, and hopefully it's the last one. We've seen cautions breed cautions quite a bit tonight. Hopefully, though, we get it all sorted out because we got so many good cars up in the front ready to race for this victory.
Yeah, and if any of these guys cause any further issues, that's going to possibly give others a good shot at maybe getting a better finish. Unless, of course, the issues happen right at the back of the field. But Michael's probably hoping that these guys can maybe hold up everybody behind him here. He's probably looking to maybe fire off and get a good jump here. Maybe hoping that Devin Farrer has to fight the lap traffic and use up his stuff to catch Michaels, and Michaels can just, set sail and let that go. Green flag back in the air now. And like I said, Michaels gets the jump, but I think Fair also got a bit of a jump. Fair might...
Oh, JD Martin! Martin's lost the engine from 3rd on the restart. JD Martin's gone from 3rd in this race to out of this race in the space of 100 yards. And now he is backing everybody up into a corner. Duke Anzac, Nick Ortiz, they make contact. Anzac down the track, JD Martin nowhere to go, and they get wrecked. Martin and Anzac into the wall, and this could touch off an even bigger wreck. And sure enough, it has. Big contact. Mark Davey upside down.
Oh! Mark Davey upside down, 77 on pit road. Very lucky not to hit those pit barrels. And tough break for Mark Davey as well.
He was trying to make his way back up to the front as a result of that pit call. And he was doing a good job, but now he is going to be done for the day. 4th caution of the night on lap 90.
Where is Devin Fair?
Quite a ways behind Joshua Michaels. There he is. So he did make it through without issue. I think Cody Goforth is going to get the free pass under this caution, but look at Zachary DeLello, even more damage for the 08. He is likely going to be done for the day.
Yeah, I was wondering where Devin Fair was because, it was just on a restart, too. I was wondering, how far back he was. Unless the 51 took the caution, but the caution was waived right after the 6 crossed the line. The timing of that.
Yeah, so we are under caution for the 4th time tonight for a big accident that was all started when J.D. Martin lost the motor in that 66, and it took him from a podium position to being out of the race altogether. So this is already well after JD's engine started to go. You can see Ortiz and Anzac, they tried to get past him, but there was just nowhere to go. The track was bottled up. And then back here, oh yeah, Davey got hooked by Bolton, and DeLello sent the 11 flying.
Yeah. I may have jinxed DeLello there with the hitting Thomas and sending him flying there. Apologies, DeLello. Yeah, because he was the one that sent Davies up and over there that time by. But tough break for everybody involved. Like, Anzac was just a passenger after that contact with Ortiz sent him sliding towards the inside wall there.
Very unfortunate, but it comes with the territory, and we'll see these guys again next time out at Atlanta. So we're looking now, fully focused at Mark Davey now. He tries to go to the inside. Bolton tries to... But when they try to come up, they find each other, and there's just nowhere for both of them to go, and DeLello just tips the 11. It's like the perfect storm for that 11 car to get tipped upside down. We've had 2 flips at Richmond. Who would have guessed?
Well, it is certainly possible, and you saw there that insult to injury. Anzac also made contact with Davies as he was upside down. So, yeah, just tough break for everybody there. I mean, and that really all started when they were coming across the line to take the restart, because J.D. Martin, man, engine let go in turn 1. Who knows? Maybe the Snake is fighting a different member of that team today. Maybe today is Michael's day.
Well, don't give it to him yet. We still have about 13 laps to go in this race, and we're gonna get the restart with at most 11 laps left. So there's still a lot of time. But one thing to keep in mind: we're at the point now where all restarts going forward will be single file. So Julio Cesar is going to stay where he is, and Henry Thomas is as well. That could really limit what anyone else can do to challenge Joshua Michaels, except for that 51 car.
Well, we're about to find out. Pace car lights are off, and yeah, you are correct. They are staying single file. So it's going to allow Fair to have a clear shot at Michaels here. Chase Chris in third. He's going to have to work around the 00, who is a teammate, need I remind you. So it'll be interesting to see if Julio Cesar gets immediately out of the way to Chase Chris to allow him to have a shot at this. Then you got Ryan Griffin in fourth. He's right behind Chase Chris. You got Patrick Smith right behind the 16 of Thomas. It's going to be an interesting series of events here as we are coming to the restart here now with 11 to go.
And look at this. We got Lane Sanders up in the top 10 solidly. Christian Vargas, Miles Mashburn, James Ellison back in the top 10. These guys could be on pace for some really good days tonight. But pace car's off, hopefully for the last time. We're underway once again at Richmond, and Michaels gets a great launch with Devin Fair and Chase Christ and Ryan Griffin. They immediately go after Julio Cesar to try and rejoin the battle.
Yeah, and not 100, and I believe that was teammate helping a teammate out. Unfortunately, it also allows Griffin to get around and has a shot again around Chase Christ here and try and get on the podium. But we're all now focused up here at the front here. Devin Fair right on the back bumper of Michaels is ahead in turn 1. Michaels sent it in just a little bit more than Fair there, but Fair's going to get the run off turn 2 here. Here they come. Does Fair take a look to the inside? Just a little bit, but they're already in the corner by the time he does.
Not quite time for him yet, but this is still a fantastic run for these guys. And look at that. Look at the battles further back in the top 10. We got battles all over this great racetrack, but we're focused on the one at the front of the field. Joshua Michaels trying to get his first win in Superstar competition after so many heartbreaks. Devin Fair looking for career win number 10.
Well, either way, it's going to be a 1 in one of the digits here. So,
actually, I stand corrected.
Like,
I stand corrected. Devin Fair would be going for number 9 if he were to pull it off here tonight.
Well, never mind then. But either way, Michaels was pulling away there for at least the first half of the lap. Fair looks like might have closed in. They're 3 wide here. That's Kruger, Teskar, and lap car of Thomas.
And how about Stanley Andrews in that one car? He's on pace for a top 15 if all goes according to plan.
Yeah, great day for Crossroads Racing in that regard.
Yeah, they got 2 of them in the top 15. Excellent day for them. Their best run at a non-super speedway. But look at this. Michaels and Fair. This is going to be the battle we're going to keep our eye on for the rest of the night. 6 laps of racing to go from Richmond.
Yeah, Fair sends it in deep into turn 1 there, closes in on the back bumper of Michaels. I think he got a better drive off there as well. Wonder if Michaels used up his stuff as Fair right on the back bumper of Michaels, just about punted him going into turn 3.
Yeah, but that compromised his exit, and that allows Michaels to get a little further out in front. 5 laps to go now, and the gap is 0.3 of a second between the 6 and the 51.
And if these guys get the fighting, that's going to allow Chase Christ and I think even Ryan Griffin a chance to catch up and try and go for the win themselves as well.
And look at Devin Fair. He's closing that gap once again. He knows that a good win is on the line, and he knows how desperate Joshua Michaels is for a win. So he's going to do everything he can to force that 6 car into a mistake.
Yeah, I think Fair might have the better car at the moment. Maybe not necessarily better tires because they're on equal tires, but I think he has a slightly better car. He's just trying to keep from running over Michaels, He's trying to race him with respect here, which is commendable, but as we now have just 3 laps to go here.
Yeah, and look at that. Michaels closes the gap Fair closes the gap to Michaels once again. Is now just under a car length between these two. They're going to send it off into turn 3. Ooh, Fair goes a little wide. That could have been the mistake he was looking for, but not in the way he was hoping for.
Yeah, that's what Michaels wanted. He ran a little bit defensively going into the corner, and I think that maybe caused Fair a little bit of kerfuffle there going into turn 3. That's going to allow Chase Chris now to close in on the 51, maybe fight for second. Lap and a half to go for Michaels. Can he finally pull it off?
This is going to be huge if he can hang on for just one more lap here at Richmond. The white flag flies for Joshua Michaels. We're on to the final tour of this Richmond Raceway, and this is going to be a big story if Michaels can hold on. Fair's going to have one more chance through 3 and 4. They come out to the backstretch, nose to tail. Chase Christ is there waiting to strike. Coming through 3 and 4, I don't think Fair is going to be enough. History in the making here at Richmond Raceway. Joshua Michaels across the line, first career win at long last, and he makes history in the process. He is the first man to win in all 3 of 1UP's National Series, and boy, is that an honor he is going to love. Congratulations, Joshua Michaels. You've got that one forever.
And that is going to be a party that lasts until, I think, midnight tomorrow night.
Oh my goodness. What a story for Joshua Michaels. History in the making here at Richmond. First career win in the Superstar Series. It comes after so long. Comes after he's been in this game for so long, and he finally gets the win he was waiting for, and he gets it in such a commanding way. Led 101 laps tonight. Outstanding from Joshua Michaels. And Chase Christ has got to be mentioned too. His first career podium in 1UP competition comes across in 3rd. Ryan Griffin 4th, his best finish of the season so far. Stanley Andrews 14th. A lot of good stories to mention, but Joshua Michaels, man, what a day for him.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any story that tops Michaels winning this race. And one thing I do want to say as well, Finn Guy, his team got a 4-5 today. So even though he wasn't able to get a top 5 himself, both his drivers up there in the top 5.
Absolutely.
So,
but
commendable day for them.
Yeah, but from Jacob Crago and from myself as well, so long from Richmond. It's been an absolutely fantastic night of racing. We'll see you again next time at Atlanta in 2 weeks' time. But until we get there, so long from Richmond. Congrats to Joshua Michaels. History has been made. He is the first man to achieve the 1UP Triple Crown, and that has got to be a big thrill for him and his entire Robbers Racing team.